Check it out.
We got somebody special.
Very special.
We're very excited today, folks. Let's go.
Share
Let's
it around.
go. Share,
Let's go.
share.
What's going on, Solutionaries? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever it is that you are and you are hearing this. Hello and welcome to the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. That's right. I am Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
And I am Fredlin Arts, the subprime hero.
And we are excited to be brewing solutions with you today.
Yeah,
but we got a really important and fun person to speak with today. So we got to get everybody involved, right?
Absolutely, we do. We need to make sure that we tag a car guy, tag a car gal, and share. Get this out there because we have a solutionary in the house, somebody out there who's coaching people on ways to be better inside their stores. And really, it's going to help them be better inside their lives, because when you are doing great at work and you're feeling good, everything else starts to roll together. Am I right, Lou?
Oh, man, you are so right. You are so on point. You know what? I'm going to have to give you a cheers for that. Hey, cheers. And welcome to the show, all of you that are joining us on the live, or those of you that are joining us on the replay, whatever situation it is that you are catching this show. Thank you for being part of those that want to upshift and uplift those that are around you and this incredible industry. Wherever it is that you are, thank you. Welcome to the show. Thank you for brewing with us. We are so thankful for everybody that's taken the time to listen, to share this around.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you all. The culture is shifting. Things are changing. People are truly trying to find ways to brew solutions consistently with a smile on their face. And you all are making all the difference because of your interaction with us. And we're so very, very grateful for it. I can't wait to hear more about somebody who really takes seriously what it is that they have charge of, the people that she gets to help, and the impact that's able to be made by way of her yes to this industry. It isn't just fun to say her name. It's fun to hear the stories. It's fun to make sure that we do get out of her the best that there is when we're brewing. So please make sure that you make her welcome, because we are pumped up to get this five-liner underway. It's
going to be a great show. I just finished up doing all my sharing right now. Hope you're doing the same thing, my friends. And listen, we have some great content that's going to be coming your way. This person has her own show. She's out there doing some amazing things, interviewing some amazing people, and we were blessed enough to be able to come on our show and have a great conversation. I think she said it was one of her longest ones. It doesn't surprise me when we have both of us on the show together. But we are excited to have her on the show, because I have a feeling this show is going to be one of the best ones we've ever put out there too. She brings a lot of energy. She brings a lot of knowledge, inspiration, and motivation on how to be more inside the dealership. It's particularly, I know she crushes on a phone. She was part of I'm telling you, she's part of the DNA that we come from when it comes to phone too. So it's really cool to know that we speak very similar language when it comes to the way we speak on the phone. So I'm excited to put her on our show today. I'm excited to bring her up on the screen and talk about her some more. Lou, you ready, bro?
Oh man, so ready. So you all have to help us out. Keep sharing this around, keep getting everybody out there, but we got to get some music because every good hero needs their theme music.
That's right.
Okay? And with that, the Solutionaries that come to brew with us do get the chance to have us welcome in them because they deserve to be celebrated on the stage and inside of the cafes. We're glad that you are joining us today as we brew solutions with the one, the only Maggie Pugesek.
Oh, you guys.
Telling you, we did practice that a few times, everybody. Hopefully we get it right again by the end of the show, but we are so glad that you're here, Maggie.
Maggie, you rock. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, you guys. Good shot on the last name. Good try.
Yeah, I tried.
Hey, we're going to keep getting better, everybody. But what we learned is you got to say it. Pugesek.
That's it. Just like that right there.
Not Italian.
You have to put the fingers up in order to get it right, get that accent going. But no, listen, she's much more than the name. She's somebody that's out there making a difference across the industry right now. And I love what's going on. You're out there training, you're out there coaching, you're out there mentoring many people. Excited to talk to you, excited to hear your story, how you got into all this kind of stuff. So welcome to the show. This is Car Guy Coffee, and we got the one, the only, the Maggie. And P.
Thanks,
right, we're gonna just go with that right now.
P.
All right. So, yeah, we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm excited to be here. I love your message. I think you guys do a really great job of spreading the love and the training, and happy to be here.
Oh, wow. That means a lot.
Awesome.
That means a lot coming from you because, I feel like we're cut from the same cloth when it comes to that. You're out there trying to spread the message and then, of course, help dealers at the same time and people at the end of the day. You're helping people. And that goes all the way to the clients that are purchasing vehicles. And I love that. So that being said, we always kick off every show. Oh, there's Kendra Brown.
Let's go.
There she is.
Hey.
A dream team right there.
Dream Team Media.
That make sure you guys reach out to them and you guys will see more about them on the show. We'll have Kendra back on very soon too. But folks, we have so much to talk about. Before we do, we always drop some F-bombs in the house.
Yes.
Got to drop F-bombs,
Got to get
right?
the F-bombs out.
These F-bombs are not designed to offend the moms. These are legit ones, clean words. So we're going to make sure that we spread this out because we want the whole world to understand that the best way to keep growing is to forgive, focus, and fly. You got to let go of that weight of unforgiveness. Am I right, Lou?
That's right. And as we do that, the message that gets across to everybody is that the mission to be our absolute best is what's most important. And when we wipe off the weight of unforgiveness, whether it's against others or ourselves, then we're free enough to be able to focus on what it is that we can truly put our powers to. And then we can stretch out and fly and make things happen. And as we fly, we keep growing. We keep growing and going to new heights with each other. And the important part of what it is that we get to do is find more and more incredible beings like you that can show us how it is that you grind it out and make something great for everybody to enjoy and get maybe just a little bit caffeinated and excited about life on. We're pumped up that you're here with us, but we're going to forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing. You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get this rocking. On 3, count it off. 1, 2, 3. Forgive, focus, fly,
and keep growing, keep growing.
Woo, there we go.
That's right.
Now we are ready to begin.
Now
5 at a time.
It is time for the 5-liner. And the 5-liner is 5 questions that we love to ask our guests that come on the show because I really think it gives an idea of where people come from, where they're going, and how they got there, right? And why they're doing it. So the first question is where it all starts. It's your why, your drive. What gets you going every single day to get up, help all these dealers, help your family, help yourself, do all those things that a lot of people wait till tomorrow to do.
I feel like one of the biggest things is obviously helping people. Like that's what we do. That's what we're here for. But a lot of times that message kind of gets lost. If training isn't really explained to the people that we're training properly, they have a really hard time with it. And they tend to see it as a negative instead of positive. And that's a problem because the whole purpose of learning how to be better at something you already know how to do is to be better and to constantly grow and learn from your experiences and learn from your phone calls. And everybody on my team, and myself included, most of us have been doing this for over 10 years, listening to phone call after phone call after phone call, and we're just trying to help. And so sometimes that message gets lost. So I like to get up and spread the message further and talk about it and talk about training and how we can help people and provide free tips and tricks to those who maybe don't work for somebody that believes in phone training, and just try to help everyone overall be better at what they do. Because at the end of the day, if you're a salesperson or even a collector, most of the time your phone call is how you drive money into your pocket. If you're a commission salesperson, you need that phone. That phone is what drives people into your store. And if you're not great at it, and you can take the best salesperson, the most energetic person on the lot, and usually their phone calls are a little bit not great, because it's a different animal. Being on the phone is so different than selling things in person. So I really think helping people is obviously the most important thing, but also spreading the message that training is not bad.
Amen to that. It's actually a necessity.
Does.
I've been hearing this a lot, and Adam Marburger's been putting it in a lot of his speeches lately, his talks that he's been doing. Adam Marburger's a good friend of ours, owner and operator of the Ascent Dealer Services. They do F&I stuff, and he's talking about training isn't something that we did; it's something that we do. And that's not his quote, but he's been saying that so much, it's resonating through me. I'm like, he's so right. And it's right up our alley, all of our alleys, right? Because it's important that people understand that you get taught something once doesn't mean you retain it. It's when you constantly practice it, you get better at it. And then you're able to start coaching down. And that's where the love becomes great. Like when you're able to mentor, help people, you end up getting better at it too, just naturally. You can't help it, right? So it's a progress. It's a way to be able to gauge your progress. And it's important. Training is crucial. It's what we do now. Always do.
So important. And it's so interesting to me, I mean, just today I had a conversation with one of my coaches where she was, trying to train somebody, and they were like, being on this phone call with you right now takes time off the floor, takes time away from me. And we talked about this when you guys were on my podcast too. And to me, that's just like soul crushing, because you might take away from one car that you might be selling, but how many more are you going to sell if you actually learn the information that she's trying to teach you? She's here to help. So, that one just always gets me. It's like, come on, guys, this is an investment, just period. It's an investment. Invest in yourself. And really, especially for salespeople, because a lot of times they get referrals and they get kind of like a following, friends and family come back and buy from the same people. Don't you want to build that? And that can happen if you do a really good job on the phone. I mean, that's where everything starts. You got those first 5 seconds to make that first impression, and you got to make it count.
I agree with you so much. Wow. It's really, it's very impactful. A lot of our conversations, most car deals start on the phone, my friends. I just want you all to know that that's where it all begins. Maybe they went to the website, but where they really make a connection with the dealership is on the phone. So how you do that and how you make that happen in the first, you said 5 seconds, it's really crucial. I mean, it's the same thing. We always think it's about when they show up, but no, it's the impression we leave with them on the phone that brings them in, makes them want to come in and actually show up to the appointment on time, if not early, with everything that they say they're going to bring. So understand that it's a very big skill to have and something you need to practice all the time.
For sure.
Zeroing in on the abilities that you have inside of your store, whether it's with technology, with techniques, with word tracks, with the synchronization of timing of a deal. Anytime that you are trying to master these things, you can't ignore the part where connection actually happens. And whether it's by way of email, it's by way of text, however the conversation gets started or starting to cultivate into being driven to the phone, the goal is still to hear the other person and let them hear you, right? That is where we are the absolute strongest in being able to convey our message to somebody. And that needs to not just be constantly, I would say sharpened. I mean, there's no time that it doesn't need to be sharpened. Every day inside of every call center, there's somebody that hears something that they haven't heard before.
Amen.
For sure.
Right? Every single day. And there isn't a word track for it. And it may happen again and it not be trained for because it never got even brought up. You know what I mean? It never really got tracked. And this is why it's so important that you do have people that are able to look at that and say, hey, here's the tweak. And exactly like you said, this isn't a cost.
No,
this is a real investment, but it's dual investment. It's your time and it's your money, right? And in that, you have to go into this investment with the intention to get something out of it that can't come out of it unless your hand is involved in it. And that's why it's so important that you do have those coaches that do grab them and say, hey, this is what to look at. This is what to actually say. Say it until you really have it down, and then continue to build on it, but never stop learning. Never stop learning. Goodness.
Yeah, I love that. It's actually funny that you bring that up because one of the things that we do is we actually listen to real sales calls. So when a dealership records their calls, we log in, we grab those calls, and we're actually physically coaching them. So it's like a personal training session for your sales call. And we interject our vocal comments in there. And sometimes people accuse us of only picking the bad calls. Now, first off, nobody has time for that. Nobody has time to go through the 100 calls you've taken a day and find only the bad one. But I think that what you point out here is that when you find a bad one, don't you want to learn what you could have done differently so you don't put yourself in that position again? I mean, that's the whole purpose of coaching and training. I mean, you don't go for a workout session with your personal trainer and have them correct you on squats and be like, no, I want to do it the wrong way. You know, it doesn't work that way. You want to do things the right way. And so even those calls that sometimes are bad, or somebody who normally does really well on our program but then fails a call, it's not to hurt you. It's to help you so that this doesn't happen again.
Oh, you are speaking it right there. And that's it. Like, people, it's good. Matter of fact, you got to make mistakes in order to grow. Learn from those mistakes. Like, take chances, figure out what you did wrong. But what's beautiful about the coaching that she's providing is that she can call you and then give you basically the science of how to do this the right way. So this next time you have a situation even similar to that, at least you know the process of what to say and why you're saying it. And that is key. And that's why practice really is what makes perfect here. And when you get better at this, which I love what Kendra said. Kendra put a quote out here. She said that phone skills are key and only get better with practice. You know, and a lot of people are like, I don't want to practice. I don't want to do that. But listen, inside dealerships, we have more time than ever to do extra practice. Why not get on there and really work on this? Why not, instead of wing it, learn something and practice it and use it? Apply it. How about that? Apply. The difference between people who do things and don't are the ones who apply. And that's the reason why they're successful. They're applying things that they're being shown, not just saying, hey, I get it, but never doing it. I love that.
A bit of effort.
Right. It's a hair. I mean, if you just start with saying the script, eventually you'll get the tonality right. Eventually you'll get all this stuff, but you'll find that those scripts are designed to make the customer think a certain way and ease them a little bit, drop their guard down.
Even just the greeting. Like, sometimes people answer the phone, sales. And it's
oh
like,
my God.
okay, come on.
Why are you bothering
They
me?
don't even like, and then you're trying, let's say it's for service, right? Even like, hey, I'm here to service. They don't even say hold for a second. They just put them on hold. I've done that. I'm like, whoa.
Click.
Like, if it's not for them, they immediately without no kind of nice greeting. You know, it's all about, we're having a wonderful day here at ABC Motors. How can I help you? You know, sir or ma'am. That's the greeting you want to give them, because you want them to feel like, ooh, I want to be having a wonderful day too.
Yes.
That is the greeting.
It's so easy.
Energy. How easy is that? Every single time. You can flip the switch as soon as the phone rings. If you don't want to do it, don't pick up the phone. That's how I always say. If you don't want to answer it with a warm greeting that's fun and exciting, that's telling people that we're having a good time, then don't answer the phones. You're wasting your time, my client's time, and everyone's time. Someone else could have got that and actually got them excited about coming in. You know, so
something I read just the other day was it was about the 5 seconds, because we know we have the 5 seconds to develop the first impression. The statistic is that if your first 5 seconds are bad, it takes you 8 additional interactions, positive ones, with the same person in order for them to reverse their opinion of you. Wow. So those first 5 seconds are super important. And then if you mess those up, then you're looking at 8. And let's talk about sales for a second. If you screw something up the first time, are you going to have 8 more chances with that customer? When is that ever going to happen?
No.
So that's how important the greeting is. It's those first 5 seconds. Those first 5 seconds.
It's the first 5 seconds.
First 5 seconds. Hey. Well, let's speak about maybe some of the first 5 seconds inside of a transition in your life where you found this incredible industry. We're always wanting to know about the great people in the industry, which is why we have the show. And what is it that led them to our beloved automotive industry? So what was it that brought Miss Maggie to automotive?
So when I was about 18 years old, I actually started working for a chiropractor. And I don't know if you guys know anything about chiropractors, but they are in it to win it when it comes to training. They train their staff inside and out, top to bottom, phone training. They take you to seminars. Like, they're really into training. And that's actually how I got started. We had a phone coach, and she would call up to the business and pretend to be a patient, and you didn't know it was her, and she would mystery shop you essentially, and she would record it, and then she would play it for your boss, and if you failed, not good, right? And I actually happened to meet somebody that was working in this industry that was doing coaching for another company, and I worked for them for about 5 years, and then I left in 2016 and started my own company. I started at the very, very bottom. I started as what we call a coaching assistant, which is the person who listens to the phone calls to try to find the calls for the coach, things that are viable sales calls, like new customers, things like that, and kind of worked my way up. I was the director of operations there for several years prior to leaving in 2016 to start my own company. And we are pretty unique because we specialize in like customizing things to really match every store. Yes, of course, there's going to be cookie cutter items to it because psychology is psychology and it doesn't change no matter where your store is. Brains are the brains, brains are brains. Right. So that's how we got here. And I really wanted to work in this specific space because, let's be honest, it doesn't get a lot of attention, specifically from big vendors, because we're small. You can have stores with 2 people, and some people don't see that as effective. Whereas I feel like everybody deserves the help. Everybody deserves the training. And, especially with challenge credit customers, those people need us, and they need us to help them to get back and forth to work and to get out of tough situations. And I feel like this industry deserves me and my team.
Hey, I love that, and thank you. And we do.
Welcome
to the industry. We need more amazing people like you coming over here, bringing in skills and different perspectives into our industry that what are needed in our industry.
Yeah.
The training, like you said, we are so far behind on that alone. If we would make it more, I think that even though we think most employees would be like, that's too much training, I think that you would retain the best ones. The ones that stay are the ones that you want, because they're going to constantly get better. There's going to be more opportunities, and they see it. It's the way that we need to make it. They do it in service departments a lot. They do a great job of giving them opportunities to get their licenses, to get up to the next level, master mechanics, so on and so forth. But yet all we do is ask them in a new car store, we'll ask them to learn product knowledge and let them get signed up on that. Right. And then they have to sell so many to get this, but that's just sell so many. Right. Cool. That's great and all. But at the end of the day, what are they really learning? What are they doing that's helping the customer besides just selling them? So we got to teach them and let them know that we see where they're going and allow them to grow up that way, right? And give them, hey, structure in that. Why not? Let's give them that consistent structure of growth. I would sign up for that all day long, knowing that I'm going to be making an income while getting better and getting educated and growing and having opportunities for more. Yeah, all day long. And people like you coming into this industry are bringing that with and showing that it's a great thing to do. I love it. I think that you're doing a great job of what you do, bringing in that training and showing that, hey, look, if you do that, because listen, who doesn't have a doctor's office that you set an appointment with that doesn't make sure that you have a call before your appointment? They always make sure that you can show up. If you don't, man, they wear you out. It's all those above, right? But we all take that like it's normal. We should do that same thing there. When you make it that urgent, people show up more. When you make it feel like that your time is that valuable, then it is that valuable to them, right? So it's important that we learn to script people and teach them the science of why you have to get them to a certain appointment and let them only pick between a couple times. There's ways to do that, and it's really good to do so, but you have to do it and make sure that your clients understand that there's urgency in this, and that's where you really get good. It's not just a nonchalant, hey, let's do an appointment, maybe you'll show up tomorrow at 2. No, it's confirmed, like really good ones, and then great follow-up afterwards. Constant change.
I started a new car and did that for 5 or 6 years before I came over here to the used car industry. And one of the things I love about the used car industry is the fact that I get to work with the people who own the business. You know how rare that is in new car? I mean, most of the time you're dealing with a general manager and their sales manager, and it's just kind of like, meh, but when you get to work with the owner, and a lot of times we actually train the owners too. And I love that, because that is how you kind of invoke this culture of like, we all are in this together. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And we all need to work together to sound better on the phone. I mean, even if you're just learning a basic, simple couple of key phrases, it is literally better than answering the phone. Sales.
100%. Sales.
Yeah.
1
So I
second,
love
please.
used cars. I love working in the used car industry. It's been really fun to actually work directly with the people, the people who actually invest their time, their love, and their energy into their businesses.
Maggie, I couldn't agree more. We're very passionate with independent dealers ourselves.
And that is a great benefit that, I mean, we enjoy that. It's not just the decision maker. It's the person who really has the heartbeat for the entire business, that from there, the drum gets beat, right? From that heart goes out what it is that everybody's trying to say, because it's so hard to not know the heart of who it is that you're speaking on behalf of. I believe that people that believe in the mission of their dealership, they answer that phone with that passion, that joy, that conviction of enjoying the opportunity to take care of that person on the other end. Not because it's just something that they heard, but it's something that they feel from their leadership, right? It stays consistent all the way through their entire flow. And that's something that takes training. In the military, everybody trained on training day. Whatever rank you were, we were all training. We were all doing some of the same training together, which helped sear us to each other, help us keep a spirit de corps, right? To where we are really wanting the same mission, even when we're going over the fundamentals of what it means to do what we do.
Which is the most important, our fundamentals, right?
That's why we
constant reminder and constant refresher on fundamentals. And then you have different levels, and that's great. And that's the way it's supposed to be, right? You know, they say, and you're making great points, Lou, that the fish rots from the head down. And when you have a great leader and when you're able to work with one, and you're so right, Maggie, working with independent dealers, being able to work with the owners straight one-on-one with them, and they get involved in knowing what the process really is, that causes that fish to be very fresh, because their heads are super fresh. So everything else below that, or part of that, I should say, is going to flow really good. It's going to be strong. It's going to have all the nutrition it needs. And it's going to, because naturally what we do is we follow the leader. And when the owner's the leader and he's doing right things, we're doing right things. And when he's educating, we're educating. When he's holding people accountable, everybody's holding each other accountable. It's when the head stops doing that is when it starts to fall apart. So speaking of leadership and speaking of people that we follow and people that really help us grow, we have mentors in life, right? And I know that you've had some mentors, and you get to be a mentor to many right now, right? But you mentioned coming in and going through a chiropractor office, seeing how their process was, learning about their training. I guarantee there were some mentors there. There's mentors before, mentors currently. Who are some of your greatest mentors?
Well, for me, I'm a big fan of reading. So most of mine would probably be authors, not actually people that I personally know, but also too, like totally that first chiropractor that I worked for really believed in me. I mean, I was just fresh out of high school, and he took the opportunity to take a chance on me and hire me to work in his front desk. And I really learned a lot. And I feel like when you find somebody like that and that invests in you, is really important. But I, personally, like a lot of little things. My team is definitely there every single day. They, mentor me. They make me better. They make me a better boss. They make me a better owner and help me write better scripts and just make us what we are. So I would have to say definitely my team. I know it's not a super in-depth answer, but
you're right though. Like you mentioned authors, I always tell people mentors aren't people that sometimes they are. It's an author.
Got their book.
It's a great speaker that you love to hear speak, or you've seen speak, or that's mentorship, because you learned something from it and applied it to your life. That is where you get that. I draw inspiration from so many people that I didn't meet, and now I've had the opportunity to meet, which is really cool, right? Like after you had these people that you've maybe read their book, you've seen what their shows, or you've seen, their podcast or whatever it is. And then you finally get to meet them, and then you see that they are those people. And that's what they're even
better.
Like, they're even more than that, right? You're like, whoa, this is dynamite, right? Because we never know till you meet them sometimes. But it's great that you have that. No, I don't think that you kind of made it broad. I think it was great that you talked about. But
I'm a big Jillian Michaels fan, which is nerdy, but I love her. And she came to Green Bay, and I got to meet her. She did like a whole backstage thing, and She has some amazing stuff in her books. It's not just about fitness too. Like she talks about mental health and, you know, kind of how that ties into obviously fitness, but also how you feel about yourself. And I feel like she has a lot of positive messages for people and trying to teach people about nutrition, and what you put in is definitely how you're going to feel, and a lot of stuff like that. So that was, I started by reading her book and I loved her. She's 2 or 3 books out, and then I got to meet her and I felt like such a nerd, you know, and she's like all of like 4 feet tall. So that was even weirder because she's super short, and like in the picture I'm all like awkward because I'm a big nerd because I met her, you know. And so you know how it is when you meet somebody that you've looked up to for the first time.
It's always like that for me too. You know, I've met a few people that I'm kind of nerded out because of
we get a little starstruck.
Well, hey,
guess who that just is? We usually have like,
yeah,
you know, it is fun, you know, and it is great. And then
cool.
I'm cool, man. I'm a cool guy. You go up. I'm totally not cool when I'm talking to him. You know this. You're so amazing.
That's how I felt when I met Michelle Rhodes. But oddly enough, we were in the ladies' room, which made it even funnier because I had known who she was and watched their podcast all the time, and you know, of course, they're Buy Here Pay Your Nation TV. And then we bumped into each other in the bathroom, and it was the first time we met, and I felt like such a nerd because I was kind of fangirling on her. Like, yeah.
You know,
should I hug you here? Do you want to hug you?
She was super cool about it, but it was like, oh.
Yeah, and that is awesome.
There she is.
Michelle is awesome too. Yeah, I can't wait. We have them on the show, my friends, next Thursday on March 2nd. We had a reschedule, but it's going to be a good reschedule. Everything is fine, so we can't wait to have them on the show. It's in due time. You know, things happen for a reason, and I think it's just going to be that much better because we did. So excited to have them on, but no, super excited to have you on, and thank you for sharing these first 3 questions. They kind of dig into like your knowing more about who you are, what gets you going, right? And I love that. You know, I could tell it's because of the people around you is what gets you going, 100%. Because you talked about that in your mentorship too. You talked about you people who work with you in your company; those are mentors to you, and I agree with that so much. People that I mentor become my mentors. You know, that's how I look at it. They hold me accountable too in a lot of ways. So it's kind of a 2-way street there. I love that you talked about that, so I can see that you're about community, you're about growth, you're about putting work together, but showing people that, hey, by putting work together, great things happen, right? And you can be as much as you want to be in that. So I love that.
Yeah, honoring your mentors and taking a piece of their mind from their books and applying it to your life, and where you have a thank you for somebody that has no idea what it is that deposited in your life, right? You can see that person and say, thank you, like genuinely say thank you. Why? For what? If you only knew, you know, at the time that I went into reading that part of that book, it fixed this part inside of me, or in my business, or in my relationships, in whatever, right? You have this appreciation and honor and value for them, especially because you run into different situations in life where you're like kind of clinging even to some of the words that they're saying and some of the experiences that they spell out, right? And with that, there's the piece that helps you to say, okay, in this particular part of my life, I have to learn this. I have to get this lesson. Inside of your life, though, many people are going to get the chance to read the book on Maggie. And when they get to the chance to say that see that, they'll hear, or they'll get the chance to reference the Car Guy Coffee podcast and hear you say, what was your hardest lesson getting till now?
I think a lot of it is kind of like drowning out the noise a little bit, especially from trainees. Like you can have, especially for some of the coaches who have, you know, large stores, you can have a really rough day. And I've done every job there is to do in my own company. I believe that's super important. Knowing what everyone does, knowing their roles, making sure that everyone is compensated fairly and that they have the tools they need to be the best they can. And I feel like that's one of the things that's hard, is kind of drowning out the noise. Because when I first started coaching salespeople in the new car world, you would get people screaming at you and sending you emails and I'm not going to get my bonus now and this is all your fault, and that is really hard to not take personally. And you know, I can tell my girls I've got guys too. I can tell my team, you know, don't take it personally. Don't, you know, they don't mean it at you. This is more of a reflection of them and their own inability to honestly read words on paper, which might sound harsh, but that's literally what it is if we dumb this down. And you have to drown that out, and you have to remember that there are people that you're helping. And then on those days when you get those emails from somebody who was selling 5 cars a month and now they're selling 10, and they were able to, you know, buy their kid a bike because they made their bonus this month. That's what it is all about. So it is really hard to drown out the noise from the negative people that don't want to grow themselves, even though you're trying really hard to help them grow. And then from there, making sure that you remember the positive and the people that you are really trying to help. And remember that it's not all about the negative, that there are people out there that do listen and they do care. And I'm sure you guys see it all the time too. When you go somewhere, there's one person in the class sitting in the back with their arms crossed. They don't want to participate, you know. That happens all the time. And everywhere I go, there's always one in my class, and they usually don't stick around because training is just too much for them. And really what it is about them not wanting to grow outside their own bubble. So
I love that. And you're you know what, you're 100% right, Maggie, on that. That is a big lesson to learn, you know, because I love that you say, you know, you got to pay attention to the good that you're doing, because there's a lot. You know, success, and this is why you are successful. Success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. And that's what you have to do, is understand that those aren't failures. I know what that's like to look in the corner of a room and you can see that person not wanting to, feet kicked up, kind of looking.
I'm sure that happens to you guys. It has to.
We love trying to get them. That's like our favorite one.
That's when the guy to get.
I immediately zoom in on him, like, hey, you back there with the foot up. What? Stand up for a second. Hands on the shoulders. Lou is, I love Lou because of his New York, right? He's got that New York in him still, and he'll tell people, hey, you, hands on your shoulders.
You're the one slowing everybody down.
Don't listen. We're waiting on you. Don't be the weird one. Let's go. Right. So
don't make it weird. We don't want to make it weird.
You're right. But that person, in most of the time, they want to be loved too. They need love too. But every once in a while, you know, we got to do our best, pour into them, right? You know, look at Michelle Rhodes popped in here, and she says, love meeting you, Maggie. Totally not awkward. I was like, oh my, that's Maggie P. I totally want to introduce myself. So you see what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
It's always a two-way street there. And you know, your reputation precedes itself always. And we've heard nothing but amazing things about you, Maggie. And you know, that's why it was so exciting to be on your show. I was totally honored and so excited to have you on our show, because it's a blessing to our audience and to us, you know, to have people like you coming on and talking about all these things that we're talking about, lessons learned, talking about our mentors and ideas that we have and processes that we believe in. You know, you believe and you understand first 5 seconds. That is so crucial. You know, that first impression, it's never more important than it is on a sales call. And when you have that,
deeper than that too, but you know, people don't always think about it, but it's kind of nerdy. So, but if you think about kind of like what's happening even right now, I mean, yeah, you guys are listening to me, but there's stuff going on behind your camera that you can't see, right? And your brain is only recording, you know, what's happening right in front of you, but everything happening around, it's storing away later for memory. So your subconscious is actually more important than your actual consciousness. So when you call somewhere, it's not just about those first 5 seconds and how they answer the phone, but what's going on in that person's environment around them. And then every time they think about your store, those are the things that they're going to remember. And it's not just about the first experience, but everything happening around them. So the first phone call, super important. But what happens when they come in? You have to think about the subconscious, what's going on around them at the same time, and the environment that they're in, you know, how clean is your store? All of that gets compacted, and that's where their impression and your reputation is going to come from. And so I feel like sometimes people don't dive deep enough into understanding what we really do, because it's not just about teaching you what to say or what not to say, but also reminding you there's a whole lot going on in people's brains. And our job is to try to help you kind of focus them in on what your goal is, what your goal of your phone call is, trying to help them collection, sales, whatever the goal, service. And remember that there's other stuff happening too that you can't control. So you have to take advantage of the things you can't control, like controlling the conversation, obtaining contact information, inviting them in. And then when they come in, make sure it's a good environment, a warm, inviting environment.
Oh my gosh. You are like, hello, people.
Solutionaries.
Listen, hope you're taking notes. I'm just saying.
Write it down.
It's the science. I love what you're saying. It's the way your brain works is so right.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. You can't just say one thing and then when they show up, give them something completely opposite, right? It all has to align to where it like almost the picture that you painted or that they painted in their heads when they were on the phone, when they show up, that it's very similar to that.
You got it.
That even if it's not visual, the feeling is similar to that. And they want that. So you got to greet them, be excited, just like you were on the phone. You got to make sure that your office space is clean. You can definitely have control over that. Like, that's something, I love what you said. The uncontrollables is the weather, right? You can't, the interest rates today, the prices of vehicles, those are things you have no control over. What you do have control over is your energy that you give them, the experience that they have, how clean your showroom is.
Does your bathroom door lock?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Make sure
Being able to provide an experience that's comfortable to where they feel like that they're, that they're there somewhere that they're going to be able to conduct business without feeling weird about it, right? Yep. Like, when you don't want to even put your hands on something, there's a problem. Like, okay, I don't want to touch this stuff here. I'm not doing that.
So something to put in your cup, all you solutionaries out there that have a showroom, that have people that are responsible for common areas that your customers get to see, do that. I mean, us taking dealership staff for a little walk. All right, everybody, we're going to jump out of the classroom real quick. And we go boom to boom to boom to each and everybody's little area and say, what do you see? What can be improved? What needs to be cleaned? Hey, bro, for real. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity of awkward for everybody to go through together. Everybody can find that speck of dust. Okay. And we've done KP duty before. We understand how to look for the spots and the crumbs here and there. And it's got to be ready for a white glove to come through. But not everywhere ever has that leader that takes them for that walk. So we challenge you all leaders out there. Check out your shop today. Check out where it is that you are, your service department, where your customers are going to sit, what the display inside of your vending machines look like. Is it clean? Is it dirty? Just take a little walk around and take your people around, and then say, what would you want if you came in here to do business, 100%. To spend your money, right? Go for those walks. We encourage you all to do that today, just as much as you would scrutinize the car and the spec that's on the rim here and there. Take a look at where your customer is spending actually most of their physical time is inside of your common areas. And just because you don't recognize it at the moment doesn't mean that they don't spot it right away. That's all they know. You don't smell it anymore. You've been there long enough. You know what I mean?
So true.
They need to know.
It's so true.
You want to check that out.
And it's one step is, if you're going to pay attention to anything at your staff, and I think that Maggie made a great point, is that first 5 seconds, listen to how your staff's answering the phones. Even if they're not great at setting appointments, it's probably because of the way that they're answering the phones is the way that the customer's feeling. So if you can get them to be better at one thing today, and it'll probably make a massive difference, I think, and I think Maggie would agree, is one, call Maggie and she'll teach you how to do it. But number two is to have the first 5 seconds of the meet and greet on the phone extremely, very just good. High energy, bringing the volume up a little bit, making sure that they're excited, maybe even standing up, walking around when they answer a phone. Don't let them sit down and slouch. They're going to answer it like they're slouched. People hear smiles through phones. People hear laziness through phones. Come on. No gum. Amen to that, my friend.
No drink. I mean, oh my goodness, so true.
Get excited, because you should be excited, because phone calls are the best calls. Those are we used to fight for them in our showroom.
Lifeline.
I used to I would trip a dude to get to the phone if the phone was like, if they had a sales call. Literally.
It's like hockey.
It was bad. No, it was bad.
It's funny you say that, because I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Call Drip. It's a company where basically a customer puts in a lead and then your cell phone rings immediately. And what happened is I had a store where they would ring to all 10 salespeople simultaneously, but those people that were on the Verizon network, their phones would ring first.
Oh, wow.
So everyone would switch to Verizon so they could all get the phone calls at the same time, because otherwise the people with Verizon had a leg up because it just rang first for whatever reason.
Those are gold.
And that's what Solutionaries do. They adapt. Goodness, we want to find a way to adjust ourselves to be able to maximize the potential. That's why training on how to operate in those first 5 seconds is critical. The first 5 seconds inside of an emergency room are critical for many people that find their way in there. And we are an industry that needs to train on it and need to focus on the effectiveness of the rest of the transaction based off of that first little moment, that time right there. And you zeroing in on that helps everybody to set the stage across the board. And like you're saying, it should be setting the stage all the way through the process. When you're on the phone with Disney, for some reason, even though while you're on hold, you're still dreaming about a big magical wonderland, right? And in that stage should be set inside of the full flow of the transaction that's happening on the phone. You don't even sound excited to be there, sir. Why should I get excited? You know what I mean? That whole excitement of an atmosphere that's set has to actually be what's there. And that's why we try to make it so that people like you do say, actually be that. It's way easier to sound like it if you're actually being that. If that's what's really going on, then it's way easier to act like it, right? We don't want a facade. We don't want to fake it. Let's make an incredible atmosphere that translates onto that first 5 seconds that makes people say, I gotta be there. That's the spot to be at. Love it. Man, we could talk on this all day. This is some good brewing. I'm almost at the end of my cup.
Yeah. So we do have a fifth question, of course.
We do.
And
yes.
we're seriously, Maggie, this is a great subject. And I think that we can have a whole show just about that subject. I really know that we could go for hours because this is right up I mean, we believe phone skills are so important. We preach that in our stores too. We know what that's like to, we train that in our stores. That's just what we did when we were there. You know, we were taught that and we understood how valuable that skill was and why when Lou and I were excelling at it, why we were able to set ourselves apart. Right. And that was because of our phone skills. It wasn't just our lot skills. Everybody had good lot skills. Everybody's great and excited when they have somebody in front of them. But how excited can you be when you're on the phone with somebody?
And they're different, right? Being that you guys have done it, you would agree with me that it's so different when they're standing in front of you versus over the phone.
100% it is, you know, but you know, it's a great skill. And if you can be well-rounded in this industry, you could be dangerous. Very dangerous.
Like this incredible solutionary right here, Stephen Apicella, who is a genius of genius.
Oh, I love Stephen.
And he's exactly correct, highlighting that it's not just aesthetics. It's how people are treated. They're going to remember how you made them feel. It's not just the way the look is. How do they feel?
That's subconscious.
Right.
That's it.
And how did they feel around you? What kind of atmosphere did you set? And was it rewarding enough for their time and their money?
And speaking of rewards, you know, we go through a lot of things. We've talked about your why. We've talked about what brought you in this industry, and we're so thankful that you're in this industry. And I know this isn't the end for you. There's so much coming from all this. I know it, and it's beautiful. And then of course we talked about mentorship and mentors and being a mentor and being mentored, and then we talked about, you know, lessons learned. You know, but the last question I have for you is, what's been your greatest reward so far for all the work you've put into this so far?
Well, obviously starting my own company was pretty amazing. You know, working for someone else, training, you know, new car stores. It was great. It was fun and I loved it. And I learned so much from working there. But starting my own company was really important to me. And then I would also have to add really my people. I have the absolute best team. And even as we grow and we bring new people on, we get great new people too, and you know they come from referrals from within my own team, and that's, I feel like, the best part, the most rewarding part of owning a company is when you have really great people behind you. And you know, I've got some of the best coaches and coaching assistants that there just simply are, with tons of dealership experience and knowledge, and they really do the best that they can to help everyone, and that is such a huge reward for me, especially being in this industry where it is not always easy. I mean, when the pandemic hit, and we talked about this a little bit when you guys were on my podcast, but when the pandemic hit, we went from, you know, hundreds of clients down to like 2. I think we only had 2 stores that stayed open, and almost every client came back once the economy opened back up. And I feel like that speaks to itself too, and tells you how some of our most dedicated clients really believe in what we do and in the training. And when they came back, it was obviously a relief, because I thought, oh no, what's going to happen to, you know, people like me, where we're just trying to help and there's no dealerships open, there's no calls to coach, it was no fault of anybody's, you know. And so for me, it's very rewarding to work with such amazing clients who not only spread the love about us, but come and see me speak. And my team really just standing behind me 100% of the way. No matter what's going on, they're always there to help. They always volunteer to pick up the pieces if I need help with things. And
so awesome.
I could not be more blessed with the people I have.
Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. It is. And again, of course, it went back to the people.
Yeah.
I'm nerdy.
No, you're not. That is exactly where the heart should be. When you put people over profits, you're always going to do better. The profits will come.
Yeah.
It's about the people. The people is the true currency, right? And I love that what you're talking about. That's why, to me, it all makes sense. You know, I love that you rounded it back out with people again. Because if it's not about the people, you will not make the profits that you think. You may make some money, but eventually it will fall apart because people will see through that.
And I've never lost an employee.
That's strong.
Never. No, wow. I mean, we've been in business. What is it? 26 years, coming up on 7.
Wow.
No, never.
Congratulations. Culture.
That's a victory.
That's a big victory. That is a big victory.
You know what kind of victory that is? That's a kind of victory that makes sure that we tell the entire world that Maggie Pugesek. Pugesek is 100% CGC approved. That's right, everybody. You all need to know that there is so much value inside of everything that you've poured out during this episode. And we encourage you all, if you're just now jumping in, go back, listen to it, share it around, show her how much you've appreciated. But Maggie, you have been dropping some incredible knowledge that salespeople, owners, all those need to be able to digest, need to be able to process, need to be able to take a moment to focus on in order to say, hey, how good are we really at this? And what is the value of us being our best at this, right? You're not trying to be anybody else. You're trying to be your very best at this. That's and right. Once you become aware of what there is to fix, that's when you should start taking action. And if you've heard this show, take a look, go for the walk, listen to the phone call. Ask somebody to say, hey, how can we get better at this? And with that, it'll help you be as strong as you all could be. Remember, when we're grinding out some coffee beans, we don't want a bad bean in the bunch. If we see it, let's pull it out. If you know that they're in there, sift them out. And if you want to make your business be everything it is that you're investing your heart, your resources, and your time into, take the time to have somebody coach you where it is that you need some coaching. It's okay. And encourage others around you to continue to push, continue to forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing. Maggie, you have dropped some incredible knowledge. We're so thankful for you to do so. And we can't wait to speak some more. Got so many ideas rolling around and brewing in the background to be able to help out other solutionaries out there, because what you're saying has to be heard. And sometimes it comes so much better from somebody that has dialed in on this as their primary focus. And we love to have you share this with many solutionaries out there that are listening today and on the replay. We appreciate you all for being here. But how do people get a hold of you going forward?
So our website is pretty simple. It's just cnmcoaching.com. You have to type out the and because the guy who owns C&M Coaching wouldn't sell it to me. So cnmcoaching.com is really the easiest way. We have a contact us form. Everything comes straight to me. We're also on Facebook under C&M Coaching as well. Our phone number is 877-900-9461.
Come on. Well, reach out to her and get you some of that coaching, Solutionaries. But you all have been incredibly coached today. Man, have we been enhanced by some serious, I'm telling you,
if you all just take a couple of these things and just apply it today and just work on it and just stay consistent and hold people accountable, your dealership will take off. Just that by itself. If you just get those phone skills up, that first 5 seconds, get that meet and greet going, my friends. Make sure that they answer that phone with enthusiasm and a smile. It'll change it all. It'll change it all.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was great. And I love spreading the message. So I appreciate you allowing me to chat on your platform.
Wow. Well, we appreciate you. Yeah.
So with that, in getting that message out there, everybody, you know what we got to do as we get ready to send off another Solutionary. We got to make sure to forgive, focus, and fly and keep growing. If you want more of the brews or you want to sponsor this show, you can go to carguycoffee.com, reach out to us, or listen to these incredible Solutionaries that are brewing solutions to make the industry better. Let's forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing, everybody. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing. Keep growing.
Let's go.
I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Frelin Arts, the subprime hero.
And we've been brewing solutions with the one,
the only Maggie Pugesek.
We love you all. We appreciate you all. Hopefully we got close to nailing that. We're out.